Hey, everybody. Glad to have you all here joining us for our Banking Blitzkrieg kickoff party. So excited about what's going on in the industry. So excited the opportunities available to us here over the next 6 months of the year. And everything I look at and see and talk to just it's like screaming to me that there's opportunities. Yes, there are cities out there through the nose. We know that Austin, Texas being one of those cities is overpriced. But there is so many things already starting to creep up with people not going back to work, still people trying to get by on unemployment, defaults still continuing, decrease, loan mods, forbearances increasing, decreasing. It really has not been a better time to call banks than what we're launching right now through the first week, second week of August. So basically, appreciate everybody that joined in. We were going to originally start it in the first week, last week, but then with everything getting delayed into July, it just made sense to delay it a week. But we are so jacked up to have you guys be a part of this. For those of you guys that are signed up to be a part of Banking Blitzkrieg, hey, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Those that are just checking it out, hey, glad to have you here tonight as well. So kind of want to break it down a little bit. One of the things that we'll be doing, and we've done this every 2 years, is set aside a month where we get 15, 20, 30 students, investors, coaching students together, and we call banks for the month, for 3 to 4 weeks. We've done this before where we did it for 7 days straight, or really 5 days straight. That was a lot of work. We've done it where we've done it made it free, and we had a few people that stuck around to the end, but I had a lot of people flake off. So we decided, and we did this 2 years ago, we charge for it. This is not a free thing to be a part of unless you are part of our WCN crew membership at $97 a month. You get that involved. This is part of what you get along with everything else, including a ticket to Note Camp here in 2 weeks. But for those of you that want to be a part of this, hey, great, $5.99, be a part of it. You'll make phone calls for 4 weeks. We'll send you lists of banks out each week we'll pull lists ourselves and send you lists to call, dollar for dollars, track down the right department, right person in there. And we've got a call log we'll go through here in a little bit with you. And then every week you turn in your call log to me, not to anybody else. You turn it into me. And when you turn that call log, then you get another list. Now, if you don't turn in a call log for a week, you're not a part of it anymore. I got to have you be a part of it. Base camp, silly. Anyway, so he's like, I can't find the link. I'm like, you're in part of it already. Go to Basecamp. But anyway, so make phone calls for 4 weeks. Turn in lists for 4 weeks. Now, you've got to make a minimum of 50 phone calls. All right, here's the biggest thing. Each week, I'm only making 50 phone calls. Now, that's not too bad. Honestly, 50 phone calls over 3 days, 3.5 days is not that big. What I want you to do, you're going to be leaving a lot of voice messages. You're probably going to leave messages probably half the time. And for those that are signed up for this, hopefully you've watched at least a minimum of one of my calling asset manager videos. So you have a bit of the script down and the wording. There's call scripts for you guys that have signed up for it. You've gotten the replays of the last virtual workshop. So you've got the manual along with it. The script as well to use that. Besides just making phone calls and leaving messages, we also want you to go over and track these people down that you're supposed to leave messages for on LinkedIn as well. Okay. And now if you can't get a hold of somebody, but you get somebody's email, contact information, that's just as good. Their direct line, their email, their LinkedIn profile URL is just as good. We want you to track those. Okay. Now, in some cases, if you can't make phone calls, everybody can make LinkedIn connections. Okay. Now I get, especially for those of you that are juggling work, I get that's difficult sometimes. And I'm going to, as best I can, for those that are signed up for this, you can go to bankingblitz.com. I'm going to put this in the chat roll for everybody. If you want to get signed up for it, everybody can still got a couple spots. You haven't missed anything yet. If you go to bankingblitz.com, you can get signed up for it. You'll be put in Basecamp group with everybody else that's going through this. We'll ask you for a list of states that you're interested in calling in. Now, everybody is like, oh, I want my own state. I get that. But if you're working a full-time job from 9 to 5 and your state that you prefer to call in is in that time frame, you're not going to be able to make phone calls to asset managers. Let's just be honest with that. That doesn't mean, though, you can't maybe make phone calls to an earlier time zone or a later time zone. If you like those on the East Coast, you guys can make phone calls. You got up at 5 o'clock, make a few phone calls to people on the West Coast or the Pacific time zone. People on the Pacific time zone, you could call early in the morning. For you, would be roughly about 10 a.m. on the East Coast. So you can still get phone calls done. You can still follow up with LinkedIn. There's a little bit of work that you'll be doing off hours and on hours. I'm not asking you to spend 50 hours a week to it, but the most important thing is making your 50 contacts, okay? And by contacts, I do mean contacts. I mean, if I give you a list of at least, first week, I'm gonna give you a list of at least 100 usually, 75 to 100. Thanks to call. I expect you to get 50. Now the second week 2, what I want you to do? Well, week 2, when you turn in your call log list, I want you, and you'll see how we have the list made up here. I want you to go back and call the people that you left voice messages with. So if you make 50 phone calls, you'll probably talk to 25 people out of 20, 25 people. That's another 25 to 30 people you call back week 2 and follow back up with, or follow back up later in the week. If you call Tuesday and you get through your list by Wednesday, hey, guess what? Call Thursday to follow back up with people. The reason I want you to do this just is not just benefiting me. This is benefiting all of you that are on here and going to be going through this training, because the more contacts we get, the better you guys have as far as reaching out to asset managers after the event, okay? Now, somebody asked me last time, well, Scott, what happens if I call the same bank as somebody else's? That rarely happens. Honestly, it rarely happens, okay? It rarely happens. We might have it happen occasionally. Hey, just tell them, hey, sorry, somebody else in my office is calling as well. We'll move on. Now, here's a big thing. People are going to go, if you're on LinkedIn and making LinkedIn connections and they're going to look at your LinkedIn profile. So make sure you have a complete LinkedIn profile. You don't need to say you're with We Close Notes or anything like that. You can say you're with who you are and you're an investor looking to see if they've got performing or non-performing notes they're looking to sell, residential or commercial. Okay. I want you to be generic. Hey, we're looking in most major markets. We're looking for assets at $50,000 or greater. Okay. We are looking at commercial assets. We'll look at commercial assets 100 grand or greater. We don't see too many small commercial assets that way, but you may. All right. The idea here is to get as much in, and those that are signed up a part of this, that are making phone calls throughout. Guess what? At the end, you get the list, and at the end, we've got deals that we can take a look at together. Okay. If we wholesale, if we flip them, we close on them, we split the profits across those that make it across the finish line for all 4 weeks. Okay. Now, what I want to go with, if you're in Basecamp, I just uploaded a file folder, and I'm gonna share my screen so you can see what it looks like, because it's designed there for you to be pretty easy and simple. So actually, I don't have it open. Let me pull up Basecamp. I thought I had. There we go. All right. I'll go back here and share my screen because I do have it. Been working hard on everything this week for you guys. All right. So here's the list. Basically, if I send you a list, just say I send you a list from Lane Guide, which is what I will do. I'll pull a list of banks, and I'm not separating these down by 5 banks or less. I'm just pulling a raw list from Lane Guide and a lot of these for you, so we can identify this and knock it out of the park. Okay. And what I want you to do, your caller name over here is your name. That is your name. Make a note of it. Caller name, my name, Catherine Bell. You put your name on here. The reason is, at the end of each week, I'm going to add all these lists together so I know who made phone calls and who's responsible, because one of the things that we're going to do, I'm going to give you guys some surprises along the week. Each week will have a different surprise. No, I'm not going to tell you about it. Okay. Might be a book, might be a class, might be just something fun. All right. Who knows what it might be. But we're going to keep track of some things, and I'm going to have some surprises along the way. So what I want you to do, you put your name down here. So you make 30 phone calls, you put Scott Carson, Catherine Bell, put your name down as the caller name, the bank name, the entity you're calling. Now, it may be a variety of a mortgage company. It might be a mortgage banker. It might be a servicing company. It might be a variety of those. So put down the actual name of the entity, the city, state that they're located in. Now, if they have multiple offices, just call the main corporate office or where they're located at. Okay. Now, if you're doing a little bit of research, let's say you put a list in here, and then many of you may pull a list and say, okay, I'm going to go over to LinkedIn first. I'm going to find these people on LinkedIn. So I have a warm name, which is a smart thing to do. You may want to go over here and put the asset manager name that you find on LinkedIn. And then where is it here? LinkedIn profile URL right there. Okay. Now, this is a pretty simple spreadsheet. Do not edit the spreadsheet. I'm going to tell you that right now. Do not edit any of these columns. Don't go inserting columns in here. There's nothing a bigger pain in the ass than trying to sort up. And this is like Chinese arithmetic, is having 20 plus people tweaking their spreadsheet for what they think is better. No, okay? If you have multiple contacts at the same bank, make them a separate line item, okay? So that means name, bank name. Okay, ABC Bank was the first one. Oh, I got another contact, ABC Bank. Put that down here, okay? So name, asset manager name. If you want to, you can put their first name and last name in there, separate it so that it gets easier for you guys to do a mail merge later on. You email out them their email, their phone number, direct line. If you send a follow-up email, now if you don't have an email to them, you obviously didn't send an email, but if you did have it, if you did send them an email, put yes and then the date that you sent them an email, okay? And then for you, the time and the date that you called. This is for your benefit. Besides, okay, I called it, I left a message, okay? This is the thing, talk to, this is what this next column is, TT or LM, okay? TT means I talked to, LM means left message, okay? Now, talk to them directly, LM, left message with receptionist, with assistant, and you can put the assistant's name down on there and their email in there, okay? Do they have assets to sell? Yes or no? I don't care really about that. The whole point is at some point, yes, they will have assets to sell. But are they looking to sell any assets in the next quarter, in the second half of the year? Have they sold assets in the last 24 to 36 months? Those are a couple questions, okay? Yes or no, okay? I put sending NDA. It means if they do have some stuff, they may ask you, well, before release information, we need you to sign a non-disclosure agreement. That's cool. If they're sending you an NDA, say when they sent the date that you send the NDA, what I want you to do is they will email you an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. I want you to send me a copy of that. All right. Send me a copy of that. I'll fill one out and send it back because they send you a list. You don't want them suddenly be like, oh, hey, I'm going to share this with somebody else. We'll just say, hey, this is my partner that will help you out with. Okay. And I go over here where it says LinkedIn profile. This means you go over to LinkedIn and you pull, when you find them on LinkedIn, you copy paste their URL, whatever the website is for LinkedIn, the profile, put it over there. So let me give you an example, because this is one thing that really people screw up on all the time, and it's not hard to do. Okay. So let me go back over here, new share. I should have LinkedIn pulled up here. I was just on here a few minutes ago. Where's it at? LinkedIn, you're my friend. All right, LinkedIn. Okay, so let's just say, come on. I think there's a guy by the name of David Deal. I think he's with, oh, where is that? Maybe it's a different one. Let's do this. Let's say it's, oh, I'm trying to think of what I think of all the time who I talk with. Let's say it's, let's just say David, oh, let's just say special asset man. What the hell? All right, let's say Renee Trinkhouse at JLL. Okay. Ends up being somebody that you end up talking to. Okay. Oh, yeah. Administrator Tampa Central maintain a profile of 100 loans that involve evaluating annual monthly income. Okay. So let's say Renee Trinkus is somebody you get a hold of at JLL. You get the list. She's out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Whoopie-doo. Okay. That's great. What I want you to do, hopefully, can you see my screen? Making sure. Yes, you can see my screen. Is you go up here, and this is the URL that you highlight, linkedin.com/in/Renee Trinkus. You copy that, and then you go over to your profile, Banking Blitz call logs, okay, and put it in there. Simple as that, all right? If you send an NDA, talk to you, left a message, stuff like that. That's it. And then individual notes, that doesn't mean do they sell individual notes. Individual notes means this is where you would leave a note on the profile. Person was really ugly to me on the phone. Person said they'll have something fourth quarter. That's where you put the individual notes on it. But all this other information is pretty simple for you to fill out, okay? Now, this combined call logs is where you put your basically week in, week out who you call. I mean, as far as combined. I put tabs down here at the bottom, so you could put in basically the same thing on a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, okay? I'm going through them now. Rules and guidelines. I probably should have covered this first, but I want to make sure we cover some things here and let everybody get logged in. So make sure to use the call sheet when making phone calls. Have this here, track it. Follow the sample sheet that's provided. That's what it's there for. It's pretty easy for you just to plug and play. Okay. Now don't do yourself a disservice. And if you've not followed, if you don't have the scripts pulled up, the manual, or haven't watched the replays of the calling the asset managers, do that first. Some of you guys just signed up today or yesterday for this. You need to watch that and train yourself on that stuff first. Okay. Please keep the notes short and precise. Insert, if you need longer, insert a comment into the cell. So don't write a paragraph in the very end. If you need to go back over and say, let's say combine call logs here, they go back here, combine. And let's say you need to put a note in here. It's really easy. You just click on the cell. So if you need to leave a long paragraph, right click. Come on. And then go down here and hit new comment. I don't know if you can see that. New comment. There you go. Pops up, start a conversation. Renee was freaking awesome. She has assets all the time. We need, she is sending me a big list. She sent me a list without an NDA. Okay. Boom. Just like that. Pretty, that's simple to do. I know some of you guys have done that. Some of you guys all think this is, the idea here, ladies and gentlemen, this is not hard to do. It's just a matter of making phone calls, following the scripts. Hey, my name is Scott Carson. I'm in such and such company. Just wanted to reach out to you and see if you're the right person at JLL that handles your note sales, distressed or performing on residential commercial side. I'm sure you probably got a couple people, one that handles residential, one is commercial. Who do I need to talk to that person? Do you have anything that you're getting rid of this quarter or the second half of the year? Is there a better time for me to follow back up with you? See, individual notes that would be put follow up. They told me to follow up in August, or told me to follow up Q4. That's where you put the individual notes to give us some sort of insight to these. Okay. And that's it. You basically, your week 1 calls, you go there. Week 2, week 3, week 4. You put your combined at the very beginning here as you go. The rules and guidelines. Use Monday. Do not make phone calls Monday or Friday. The only time you would want to make phone calls on Friday is if you already left a message. Now, if you didn't get a chance of making a phone call back on Thursday, okay, Friday is an exception to call people you've left messages for throughout the week. Okay, something to think about on that. Use Friday to clean up your logs, and then send the, then also at the end of the day, or if you haven't done it already by Friday, go in and send your LinkedIn connects. Go ahead and send connections to those asset managers. It's helpful for you, and it'll be helpful. Okay. I want you, call logs are due to me via email. Okay. Email by 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday. Each Friday, your call logs are due. Okay. Your first list will be 100 banks roughly. I expect you to get 50, and it'll be 50 each week. Okay. If you need more, okay, great. Fine. We'll give you some more. If you have a business partner helping you out with this, or somebody else helping you out with this, let me know. If you need more lists, we'll get to them as well. The first week you don't turn in a list, I'm sorry, you're out of this. And some people are like, oh, I'm going to make 1,000 phone calls, and then they don't make phone calls at all. Look, I know life gets in the way. All right. If you can't make phone calls for some reason because of an emergency, I get life happens, but let me know. And if you can't make phone calls because you broke your jaw, or you can't hear because you're went deaf with swimmer's ear, whatever it might be, let me know. There may be an opportunity for you to do something else, as far as at least pulling a bunch of LinkedIn contacts and going that route. Okay. At the end of 4 weeks, so that we're going to be given a complete list of the banks and call logs. I'll clean it all up. I'll organize it, and I'll send it out to where. Okay. Like I said, if you get an NDA from a bank, you sign a copy, send it, but also send me a copy to sign before you send yours in. You can send them both at the same time. There's a float profit those remain after 4 weeks. We'll split the profits up as we get lists in. You guys will have the first opportunity to cherry pick. Any questions, comments, concerns from before we get you guys rocking and rolling here? Now, one of the things I need to know in Basecamp, okay, if you have not done this already, if you're part of the Banking Blitzkrieg, go into Basecamp. You should have gotten an email and tell me which states you're looking for, not cities or counties. We're not going to get specific. I need to know which states. If you like Maryland and Virginia because you're East Coast, great. All right, tell me, but don't rattle off 20 states. Okay. Give me your top 3 or 5, because that's where you're going to have the most, I think the most fun is calling in the 3 to 5 states you're looking for. Okay. Mary asked questions. Do most banks ask for an NDA? Some will, some won't, Mary. It's hit or miss sometimes. That's nothing to be embarrassed, scared about that, though. That's nothing to be nervous about at all. That's a good thing. If they feel confident not giving you an NDA, that's a beautiful thing. Great, get it, fill it out, walk you through it. If you need help filling it out, it's not difficult at all. Now, if a bank asks you for an NDA, we've got one you can send in. You can fill it out, send it into them, and they can send it back. All right. Cool. It's not hard. And then non-disclosure agreement just means you're not going to be blasted it from the top of the the world on the internet, posted on the dark web, or anything like that. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns. How many of y'all are excited about this? Whoops. How many of you are excited? Oh, I'm so excited. I know some of you are. Everybody's like, send me a list. I'm like, wait. All right, I got a couple questions. Catherine's wahoo. So excited, Mary. Good. Glad to hear that. Catherine, let's go. Yep. I will be working to get lists to you guys tonight and tomorrow. I'll be up late and up early finishing these up through these. I've got already pulled some lists already for the year. And go from there. If you get a wrong number, don't worry about it. Do me a favor. If the list I send you is a wrong number, hey, I'm going to send you a PDF. I'm not sending you an Excel spreadsheet until we get to the second round. The first week is going to be off. Is to be a PDF that I'm going to send you guys. If you see a number that's wrong, then do me a favor, write across it, wrong number, out of business, closed doors, or the correct number. All right. And we'll be glad to update our data for that as well, too. Okay. Another question here. Charles Ben, I'm excited. Yeah, glad to have you, buddy. Happy dance? Exactly. Dance a jig, Irish jig. Okay. Any of the questions from those that are just joining in? Just kind of peeking over our shoulders. Anybody got any questions about that? If you got a business partner and you want to split the cost with, let me know. We've got a separate link to do that for if you want to split the cost with somebody. But you guys, this thing, we'll send you one list for you. You got to let me know. All right. And go from there. The first list, I know you're not going to probably get 50 done by Wednesday and Thursday, but get a big chunk. Yes, the first list is by Friday at 5 p.m. I was supposed to do this last night before Note Night in America, and I have something pop up, emergency I had to take care of. So I apologize. But it pushed out 24 hours. It's just the way it is. I didn't want to do this early today because I know some of you guys are juggling or working jobs or doing things like that. So your first call, tell you what, I'll make a deal. Your first list is not due until Saturday night. Okay. So if you need a time to follow up and do your LinkedIn links on Friday afternoon, Saturday, make your first list due by Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You'll have a new list to you Monday morning. Okay. And we'll be posting updates. Hey, how many get phone calls? How many phone calls did you make? And so keep track of that. How many phone calls did you make week 1? How many people did you talk to? Okay. How many emails did you get? How many LinkedIn URLs did you get? Keep track of that stuff. That's why we put it on there, so we can keep a running toll for wherever it's going. Okay. And you'll get better at it as it goes. All right. Anybody else? It will, this Saturday, after this week, it'll be due by Friday. Okay. I think I answered that. All right. Well, hey, if you've not posted in Basecamp which state you want, drop me an email. Give me a couple options. I had like 5 people ask for Arizona, and Arizona is already reserved. So, anyway, that's okay. There's plenty of banks all across the country, everybody. All right. Yeah, up to 5 states. Let me know your top 5 states roughly. And provided that you have time to call. That's what you got to realize. Look at the state, look at your time zone. I'll give you an example. If you're in Florida, Florida is one of your top states, but you live on the West Coast. Are you going to be able to get up in the morning and make phone calls? If not, it may make more sense for you to call something Central, Mountain, or Pacific time. So look at where you're at. Because remember, you want to call between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. that state's time zone. Okay? Not your time zone, their time zone. Keep that in mind. All right. All right. If you don't post which states you want in Basecamp, make sure you send me an email. And hopefully everybody, we got a few people on here who I know aren't in Basecamp, because we don't have this many people in the Basecamp group right now. So let me know, drop me an email. Once again, if you'd like to get signed up for it, if you're not signed up for it already, go to bankingblitz.com. I didn't figure everybody would know how to spell Blitzkrieg properly, so we did bankingblitz.com to keep it simple, everybody. Laura, post your site. Thank you very much, Laura. We'll get you a list tonight or tomorrow. I'm excited for this. This is always a good thing, and I think it's never a better time than what's going on right now to take advantage of the next 4 weeks and to really be on these asset managers' minds over the next month, 2 months, and as they start making decisions, because they're already starting to make decisions of what they're going to let go. Let's get rocking and rolling. So look forward to it, everybody. If there's not any other questions or comments, I see a hand raised. Is that Janelle? Did you have a question? Hand raised. Type it in the chat roll with the Q&A so I know what questions you have. Oh, it's okay. Quite all right. Well then, hey, everybody, have a great look. CT, send me an email. Don't post it here because I'm not going to have these chat rolls on here in Zoom. So if you're in Basecamp group, go to Basecamp and type in the states that you want. Pick 3 to 5 states, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody. I see people. I can hear the ding, ding, ding of Basecamp coming to my email. So go out, have a great evening. Happy calling. If you run into a roadblock or something, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Glad to help out. Saturday I will not be available at all via phone call. I've got a going to a wake. I was supposed to have note camp or note weekend this Saturday and had to push it out to next month because of I had a close family friend pass away on the 4th of July. So their wake is this Saturday. I'll be going to that. So otherwise, have a great rest of your week, and look forward to listening from me tomorrow or tonight. Bye, everybody.